time for another episode of The Get Up. What's the Get Up? The Get Up is a slingshot. It's a chance to pull back your day and launch into a brand new adventure with encouragement, motivation, and practical actions you can apply to the goals you care about the most. Today, I want to tell you about one of my favorite cars and something really, really interesting and really, really surprising about it. So the Porsche 911 GT3 RS is a beast of a race car that somehow snuck its way into suburbia. This is no, I'm a software executive and I got my first real bonus, so I splurged car. This is an angry animal of a car. It looks like something that should be on a mantelpiece. It looks like a work of art, but don't be fooled by the appearance. This thing moves. It's got 520 horsepower. It does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, and it costs around $250,000. It's a very expensive car. And my investment guy always jokes with me about Porsche. I've told him for years, I want to get a Porsche. I have an investment guy. That sounded like I've got a team of guys. I've got a board of advisors managing all my monies. But he always jokes with me about it because I've told him for years, someday I want to get a Porsche. Because for me, a Porsche isn't a car, it's a dragon. I grew up near a Porsche dealership when I was a little kid, and I can still remember the sound they made. Like when I would hear somebody on a test drive on this road near our house that cut through the woods, it sounded like a dragon. Even to this day, if I'm in the backyard and I hear somebody on the road near us in a Porsche, all of a sudden, I'm 8 years old again, and I feel like I've got this big dream. So we had a financial review meeting with him last week, and the first item on the agenda, he actually wrote this on the agenda, was, how are we doing on the Porsche? And I said, hey, no worries. Like I bought one. It's right here, actually. I'll show it to you too. And I held it up to him, and I was like, here it is. I got one. I mean, it's made of Lego, but that still counts. And he did not seem that impressed with this, which is a shame because it's very impressive. My favorite thing, I think, is under the hood bonnet. That's what they call these bonnets. When you're a car guy like myself, it's got a tiny little toolkit. I love this car. Now, chances are, easy girl, let's go back right there. Chances are I'll never have a 911 GT3 RS, but I did get to sit in one recently at an event called Gosh, I Wish I Had More Money. That wasn't the actual name of the event, but that's how I felt in my heart. But we were at this event. We actually took a bunch of photos. You can see here, Jenny and I standing in front of the car, trying to look playful. The photographer said, hey, do crazy things, look playful. And I don't think it worked at all. But I did get to sit in the car, and it sounded amazing, and it looked amazing, and it felt amazing. But there was something that surprised me. What surprised me was what I saw on the hood. When I walked around to the front of the car, there wasn't a hood ornament. There was no Porsche emblem. There was still something there on the hood, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. It was a sticker. Instead of a hood ornament, there was a sticker, and I thought, wait. You pay $250,000, $250,000, and Porsche gives you a sticker? I mean, the hood ornament's important. In the 90s, when I was a kid, Mercedes symbols got really popular and people would steal them. The symbol matters. And so I went and talked to the service manager and I said, why is there not like an official metal Porsche emblem? And he said, well, with this car, one of the goals is performance. We focused on performance. So we stripped away everything that wasn't necessary. He said, for instance, the seat only does 2 adjustments. You can only adjust it 2 different ways, like in a mechanical way, because there's not a motor. If we wanted to do 10 adjustments, 12 adjustments, each seat would have to have a really heavy motor, and we didn't want to waste that weight. He said inside, when you shut the door, you'll notice there's no door handle. It's just a cord that you pull. And he said on the front, there's no hood ornament. Now that's really interesting to me. Do you know how much a hood ornament weighs? A Porsche hood ornament weighs 0.12 pounds. What's that, about 2 ounces? I'm not great at math, but I think that's about 2 ounces. There's not a Porsche enthusiast in the world, because most of the people buying these aren't race car drivers. There's not an enthusiast in the world that gets in the car and goes, wait a second, is there an extra 2 ounces in this car right now? Like, what? 2 extra ounces? I mean, let's be real. Your shoes, the shoes you wear when you get into the car, weigh more than 2 ounces. So why do they do it? They do it because that's not the point. The point is the story. Every time that owner sees that sticker, they're reminded that Porsche sacrificed everything at the altar of performance. They stripped away even sacred things and said, this doesn't matter, this doesn't matter, this doesn't matter. We're going to focus on right here. That sticker isn't a sticker, it's a story. And what's interesting is Rolls-Royce tells the opposite story. Rolls-Royce celebrates their hood ornament. They call it the spirit of ecstasy. And it's spring-loaded and it arises from the hood. There's videos all over the internet about it because it arises up and then it disappears back in. They spend a lot of weight and a lot of money on their hood ornament because their story is different. It's a story of luxury, not aggressive performance. And the best brands in the world, the best brands know the small little details become the big story. So my challenge to you today is to think about that. Whether you're creating a book or an album or a video or a family, think about the small things that will become the big story. I remember for family, for instance, my dad, when I was a kid, one night we had Jell-O. We had a lot of Jell-O in the 80s, and we had this big plate of Jell-O. And right when it got served out, he just reached in with his whole hand and grabbed it. And me and my brothers started dying laughing, and it became this little story. So as you create, be really deliberate to say, okay, what are the small things I'm going to do that are going to create the big story? What's my sticker? Thanks for watching this episode of the Get Up. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and make sure you subscribe, and I'll keep making these as long as you keep watching them. And wow, this sweater matched the Porsche today. So on brand.